Welcome, Reverend Aya Luna Garza. It's great to have you here. How are you making history right now?
Well, currently, my focus is on relationship building. How do we, the church, connect with community in ways that give life? In fact, I call it symbiotic relationship, to where we're both acknowledging that we breathe together. Our breaths are belong to each other. We share breaths. And so how do we embrace that and then enjoy the relationship and have those relationships give and feed both the church and the community, sustaining things that are right and good and of God, honoring God through all of that. And so currently, I am doing a doctorate of ministry at United Theological Seminary in prophetic activism, connecting the cross to community. One of the things I hope to do is come up with a matrix on how to, right? How do we start that relationship building, and how do we start connecting people, and how do we start breathing with each other? So that is my hope, and that's what I'm working on. One of the things that drives me is that I truly believe a church that makes no difference in community makes no difference in community. Absolutely none. And so, how do we make a difference? How are we part of that sharing of breath and life giving spirit, life affirming, life perpetuating spirit within our own communities? And so, that's what drives me. Some of the ways that United Methodist Church does that, and some of the work that I'm doing. I'll go back a few years. We continued a food pantry. It was very small at first, but through pandemic, it kind of exploded. We got up to serving 3,700 families weekly for over 9 months. Over the last 3 years, we've served over 300,000 distributions of food, all ranging from 50 pounds to 95 pounds each. Other ways in which we've reached out in community over the last 3, 4 years is in fire response, in vaccination clinics with the state, with handing out test kits. We handed out over 200,000 test kits in the middle of pandemic. We continue to do test to treatment right now. We are active with Journey for Justice and grassroots organizing within the city. I am currently working with a group that I brought together of faith leaders that is interfaith and even non-faith, uh, so that we can come together, support each other in works, and seeing how we might indeed bring breath to the community and life-giving efforts together in collaboration. We have also been instrumental in flood relief for this county, especially, but also this entire district. And so we're still in the middle of that currently. And so our job as disciples of Christ is to help the world see the church and the church see the world, and somehow bring those two things together so that we are indeed making a difference in community. One of the things that we hope to do is feed the mind, bodies, and spirits of our community. You've heard how we've talked about the food pantry. You've heard about our worship and our inclusion with that. And we even have book clubs and anti-racism workshops and LGBTQIAP plus ally training and training on how to be vocal for social action and how to raise awareness for different issues going on, whether it's housing or Black Lives Matter or the food insecurity, whatever it is. How do we come together, sustain each other, and give back to community as we are part of the community? Throughout all of this time, I guess I could say the obvious. I'm Latina and I'm female. So part of that history making is breaking stereotypes. Yes, I am Latina, and yes, I am female, but there's also stereotypes from, oh, I don't know, coming from the deep South, Texas, and what that might bring. And so all of these things, I think, are things that push the envelope and push the lines and extend into the community in ways that we might broader reach all of our constituents and remember those that are frequently marginalized or forgotten. So, yes, I'm writing some books. Well, the most obvious one is for the doctorate of ministry, and that again will be this matrix of trying to understand how to build relationships, connecting community to the church. I'm writing another set of books that is actually for their partner books, one for adults and one for children, how to walk your children through the valley. Having experienced the loss of my husband and the father of my children, at a time when I had no guidance and didn't know where to turn to. I think that that might be something that is helpful for others that go through that type of experience. And then I'm writing another book, which also feeds into this question of relationships. That book is The Art of Comadres. And basically, in the Latino community, we have a tradition of comadres and compadres. And what that is, they're co mothers or co fathers, if you went to literally translate that. But what it really is intentional community that comes together to sustain the families. So, how do we wrap two, three, four, five families around your children and each other's children to create a supportive network? That is actually something I did with my own young boys, which I needed to do actually as a single mom at that point, as a widowed mother, to help be intentional about who I could count on and who they could count on for support, for guidance, for love, for care, for nurturing, for modeling, and for expectations. Right? To this date, those four families are very much a part of our family, and so they call them aunts and uncles rather than co-mothers or co-fathers. But again, it comes back to the question of the value of relationship and the value of care for one another and the value of coming together intentionally in relationship so that all are carried and supported and nurtured and loved.